As I see, people haven't finished to come yet, but it's time, and then we must start with the program. First of all, I would like to remember all of you that after the last activity of this day, we're going to go directly from here to the place where the dinner is going to be conducted. Then get ready for that. At 8:30 p.m., the dinner is going to start punctually because there is a show involved. Then, if any of you go to the hotels, take that into account. 8:30 p.m., the dinner is going to start in the assigned place. Well, now we're going to have a panel that is going to present a very interesting case of cooperation between universities and enterprises. And here we have the Dean of the UNISINOS Business School, Yeda de Souza, who is going to moderate the panel. We have as well Father Marcelo Fernández Aquino, Rector, President of UNISINOS University. We have Professor Richter, who is in charge of inter-institutional relationship. And we have Chris Ryu, who is a representative of the enterprise that is cooperating now with UNISINOS University. Yeda, all yours.
So good morning. It's an honor and a pleasure to introduce this panel at this forum of IAGBS. First, I would like to thank very much to Professor John Miles and to Professor Roberto Horta, who has been leading the organization of this forum and taking together the Jesuit Business School of Chile, Argentina, and Brazil. And this is why we are here together with John and Roberto on this panel. So when we began, I want to share with you that when we began to discuss about the organization of the forum, Cristiano and I, we brought the idea of presenting UNISINOS case. So thank you so much for accepting our proposal. And we did this proposition because understanding the spirit of this forum and taking the idea that how important it is to discuss about the Jesuit mission inside business schools. And nowadays we understood that UNISINOS has something to tell, has a story to tell about how the mission has been taken in an emerging country as Brazil, and particularly in a region that has been, in the end of the last century, losing competitiveness. So the case that will be discussed here today is a case of entrepreneurship, but not only entrepreneurship of one company, but entrepreneurship of a university. And this university is UNISINOS, that understood that without going beyond regular education, without going beyond the traditional way of offering a good education service to students and actually engaging with companies and public policies to help to improve the region, the mission would not be accomplished. So thank you very much, Father Marcelo, for accepting to be here. Thank you, Cristiano, thanking Chris Rui to be here to share this case. And please, Cristiano, Father Marcelo, and Chris, the word is with you.
So good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for this invitation of sharing our strategic project in such opportunity. Myself, I am Marcelo de Aquino, a Jesuit father, Cristiano Richter is our director for international affairs. And Mr. Chris Ryu, he comes from Korea. He plays a key role in our partnership with South Korea. Thank you so much again. So, we have such an agenda. You can read it. My opening words. Cristiano Richter, first statement. Mr. Chris, global technology trends. Again, Cristiano Richter. And my close words. Let's start. Opening words. When I go to Korea, I used to take part in a very important President's Forum Global. KAIST is a very important institute in South Korea. And every year we have a meeting called Presidential Forum on Global Research University. It's a huge opportunity for me as a president to take part at this forum. And in Korea, I find this scientific exposition from 20th century to 21st century. As I don't teach business, I don't teach economics, I teach philosophy. My first words come from a philosophy teacher. And it's very important for our Jesuit institution to try to understand what is going on in cultural meaning from one century to another century. You can see science, technology, society, economy, workers, hierarchy, and choice. And we can see how deeply we are moving from one world to another world. In 21st century, we are in this part of our scientific revolution. What does it mean to live as Jesuit university, Jesuit business school, to move again with all the humanity from the new world? That's the key point we are trying to understand in UNISINOS. So, it's not an age of a change, but it is a truly change of age. That is our mainstream in our presentation. And now I invite Cristiano Richter to have the next step.
So, first of all, thank you very much again, Professor John, to be here. It's our pleasure to share this kind of experience that's an international cross-sector relationship between the one university, one Jesuit university. Maybe I need to take this out. It's okay? And in a global network. I want to share the first words, just the relationship between the UNISINOS and HD Micro, just for let you know about what we are talking about. This is the basic business model that we have. So from the left side, we have HD Micro. Basically, is a joint venture between a South Korea company we call as a technological partner. It's a Hana Micro. Hana Micro is a spin-off from Samsung in Korea. And we have a local partner called Parit. So they made a joint venture and called HT Micro. And they have an academic partner as R&D partner. It's UNISINOS and is located in our Technopark, Technosinos. And we have a very strong support from government, from the federal level, from the state level, and from the municipality. So it means that all of these partners made this history of this project in the last 5 years in our campus. This project is based on a very strong policy environment in Brazil. We call this as a electronic and semiconductor industry as a complementary policy strategy in Brazil. So I don't know where I need to speak here. Okay, sorry. So we have this both policy as a complementary policy in Brazil. It's tried to be a competitiveness environment in Brazil in order to foster the semiconductor industry in Brazil. So from the left side we have the electronic industry. We have a specific law for that. It's an IT law we call in Brazil. And we have a semiconductor industry policy in the right column. So it means that, for example, if you IT company in Brazil, such as Dell or Positive or HP in Brazil, if they buy a DRAM MEM, for example, at least 50% of the DRAM MEMs for their computer, they can have up to 15% off of the total price of the product in Brazil as a tax incentive to purchase local ICT contents in Brazil. For the other hand, if you have a local semiconductor industry in Brazil, we can have 35 or up to 50% off of tax benefits in Brazil in order to be competitive locally. So to have this kind of tax benefits, the company needs to invest at least 5% in R&D, being a minimum of 1% outside of the company. So it means that before 2007, we had a no competitive industry in Brazil. And after that, after they launched this specific policy in Brazil, we can have the corporate income tax around 15% off, value added 25% off, and imports variables, it's all of them off in order to promote the industry in the Brazilian land. So, but there is a mandatory to invest 5% in R&D locally to have a sustainable growth for the future of this industry in the Brazilian land. So, in this sense, the responsibilities of the project is from HT Micro, is a semiconductor packaging and testing. That's quite unique because the value chain of semiconductor in the world, we have the design, we have the foundry, and we have the packaging and test, the final stage of the industry chain in the world. So the HT Micro is concerning about the packaging and testing, and Mr. Chris is going to talk a little bit more about the technology itself. They start with DRAM and expand into NAND flash and other ICTs technology. So now we are really proud to have 180 people as an employee. It's a high skills jobs in the HT Micro by this year, and they is going to spend for 5,000 by 3 years later. The total investment up to now is $100 million, and they have a target to incremental like 30 million each year. So, and UNISINOS hosts this company in its tech park. We are the investor of the HT Micro building, so we build a clean room factory in order to host the manufacturing production of the HT Micro with a leasing counterpart. And we have at least 1% of their revenue in R&D investment as a partnership for long term. So it means that it's a very win-win strategy with some university, and it's his tech park and one company in a global perspective. So our responsibility is provide talent development, technology service, and apply research. So, and we have 5 years of this project. And later I'm going to share some outcomes that we have been doing with talent development and regional development in our region. This is a picture that's earth by view of UNISINOS campus here. You can see the main library, the administrative building, all the classrooms. And we have the tech park that starts in this side. The tech park embraced the UNISINOS campus. And here we have the HT Micro factory that we are talking about. So they have 10,000 square meters of the factory and around 7,500 of clean room to house the manufacturing production in our tech park. So that's basically our relationship with HT Micro. And now I'd like to share a video about the HT Micro company in order to be clear about the company itself. Please.
HT Micron is a Brazilian company founded in 2009 through a joint venture between South Korea's Hana Micron and the Brazilian group Parrot, with the mission to provide local semiconductor solutions for Brazil. Basecamp, inaugurated in July 2011, provided a clean room infrastructure inside the UNISINOS campus, allowing HT Micron to start off the manufacturing operations. With a clean room of 350 square meters, HT Micron began local production of semiconductors in Brazil. The factory is located in the city of São Leopoldo, around 35 kilometers from the capital of Rio Grande do Sul, Porto Alegre. With 7,500 square meters of clean room, was inaugurated in June 2014 with the presence of the President of the Republic, Dilma Rousseff, and has the capability to use the world's most advanced technologies for semiconductor packaging and test. As a technology development company in Brazil, HT Micron is incentivized by the Program for the Development and Support the Semiconductor Industry, PADIS, allowing competitive operation, strengthening the local Brazilian supply chain, and reducing the deficit of the country's trade balance. HT Micron's partnership with the South Korean company Hana Micron allows access to the latest technologies related to semiconductor products and packaging processes, ensuring an efficient and fast transfer and implementation of innovative and revolutionary technology in Brazil. HT Micron has a highly qualified and experienced team. With established procedures, the company performs all steps and tests necessary to ensure the durability, reliability, and quality of its products. HT Micron supplies components for the computing and electronics marketplace. Among these, components with volatile memory and non-volatile memory for computers, tablets, and mobile phones, which have a high capacity for integration and processing. This is possible due to packaging technologies which encapsulate multiple chips into a single electronic component. This is the technology of encapsulation and test the HT Micron apply. Knowledge. HT Micron believes in generation of knowledge and value for Brazil, understanding that the university environment is highly stimulating and has great potential in the process of technological innovation. HT Micron, with universities such as UNISINOS, invests and encourages development, innovation, and research in the field of semiconductors. Innovation. We believe in innovation with the successful identification and application of new technologies. Multiculturalism. we embrace our multiculturalism and value the new and enriching possibilities that it brings, providing greater synergy for the achievement of our goals. Values, motivation, discipline, perseverance, and dedication are essential to overcome the obstacles in our path. People, we believe that our employees are the soul of the company. Passionate, committed, and determined people represent HD Micron.
So now you all have an idea about the HD Micron company and the UNISINOS partnership. And we can see this project with many lenses for the academic perspective, from the business perspective. And I can see that we organized this panel with the lens of the technology itself that Mr. Chris is going to present now. I'm going to bring some idea of global networks, especially with the transnational communities in order to foster global talents. And Father Marcelo is going to talk a little bit more about the regional development as a Jesuit university. So now, in this sense, I would like to invite Mr. Chris to join us here and to share about global technology trends in semiconductor in the world markets. Thanks.
Bom dia, pessoas. Good morning, everybody. My name is Chris Liu. Korean name is Gite. Gite. It's a little bit difficult to pronounce for the foreigners. I'm the semiconductor engineer. I've been working as a semiconductor R&D engineer for around 24 years. So I'd like to share my unique experience for 24 years within 10 minutes. I think it is a little bit difficult for me to explain my the experience, scale, everything. But let me share my experience and also history about the semiconductor. Okay, I think everybody has the smartphone or tablet and also the notebook computers in your bag and in your pocket. I also have the smartphone here. This is my smartphone. As you remember, smartphone history is very short. It is about just 20 years history. I think I still remember I used, yes. This is old cellular. I think you also had bought this kind of the cellular in 1997 or 1998. Yeah, we had such kind of just a cellular phone to communicate with friends and with children, just sending voice, voice message only. But from the 2007, something different that happened. The Steve Jobs invented totally new things. The smartphone. Smartphone is like the computer and also cellular. So it contains a lot of various kind of the functions, including the voice, the transport, and also the text message, the sending, and also the image sensor to take photographs using the smartphone. And also the internet access. And the data transformation, and the Bluetooth function, and the Wi-Fi, and the TV access, GPS, and the gyro sensor, and also including motion sensor and touch sensor too. And also the USB and the graphic card and the touch, the sensors, and there are so many kind of sensors, and the near frequency communication technology also. Basically, this the various function requires very huge mainboard size. So, before the 2007, it was not possible to integrate whole semiconductor in the small palm size. It was not possible. So I want to explain how we can make so many different semiconductor technology within this small size. I want to explain. Okay, now we are living in the fourth generation of telecommunication. So generally we call the PMP generation. So as you know, in the old era, during 1995 until 2007, we just enjoyed the first and the second generation, just PP. PP means person-to-person communication. You can access your friend, your family, just using person-to-person, using voicemail, and also using the SNS. But now, the smartphone can communicate with person and machine also. I can also access my car. I can initiate my car. I can initiate the air conditioner. I can initiate the light in my house. Using the fourth generation technology. So we call that the person to machine to person. So we are now living in ubiquitous era because of this Apple and also another innovative entrepreneur and the companies and technology. Okay. So now the semiconductor industry is not big. Not big, but it is the first phase of a whole the ecosystem of advanced industry. The semiconductor industry, the worldwide business size is about $300 billion amount. Not big. And it makes some kind of the system-based industry. The most of our area will be the semiconductor. The industry will be around $400 billion. Not big. But, so, Apple started this mobile business, smartphone and tablet. This business size is around $1 trillion US dollar size. A little bit bigger than semiconductor. And this mobile the gadget created another new industry. The application and also internet-based the company, mainly in the United States and Japan and Korea and Taiwan. So they created very, very big the amount of the business. So this will also making another trillion business size in the world. So it is starting from the semiconductor. Without the semiconductor, it cannot be possible to achieve each the ecosystem of mobile. So I want to explain how we can make that kind of the various and the multifunctional semiconductor the function inside this the smaller the smartphone. Basically, there are two different kinds of the semiconductor technology solution. First solution is the vapor fabrication technology. So vapor fabrication technology tried to make some integration. You can see this picture. So vapor fabrication design engineer tried to consolidate and integrate different the semiconductor like the LPDDR, low power DRAM, and also the baseband, and also the NAND flash and the radio frequency to consolidate into one chip. We call that system-on-chip technology. And another side of semiconductor technology is packaging technology. We developed the system and packaging, and also multi-chip packaging, and the package on packaging, vapor level CSP through silicon via. comparing with the wafer fabrication breakthrough technology using the system on chip. The packaging technology, there are various kinds of solutions to make more smaller, more thinner, to integrate more in one chip. So we can make this big, the main board size about 25 by 18 millimeter scale to integrate the function of Bluetooth plus Wi-Fi and the passive component together, resistor, the inductor, capacitor, all together. Normally, 10 years ago, the normal standard size was relatively big. Now, we can make with 10 by 10. This is the shrink around I think 10% size. Yeah, then 10 years ago, we can make it. This is the technology breakthrough using system in packaging technology. So we can make the finger size main board to integrate the computer. So I think you know also have some USB pen drive size computer. Yeah, we can make it using this technology. And another technology is multi-chip packaging. So in order to make more the higher density of the memories, now the Samsung and SK Hynix, the Micron, they produce just a single chip, 32 gigabits, the NAND flash wafers. But in order to make more higher memories, so we need to download some movies, some flashy. So it requires a lot of the memories in smartphone. So we need more memories inside of a cell phone. In order to make the higher density, that's very easy for us. Just a stack, like a sandwich. So we stack one another 32 gigabit and also another 32 gigabit. We can stack up to 32 chips in same size of 1 unit of a semiconductor. It's a technology evolution. So we can stack the LPDDR and the NAND flash and the application process together. That doesn't require the integrate different device in one semiconductor, the wafer IC. Because in order to develop this system on chip is very difficult and take very long time, need to invest very huge amount of capex. Let me say. So the cost of R&D to develop the system on chip in the wafer level, it costs about $60 million US. But packaging technology just requires a very, very small money compared with the SoC, the technology development. And the problem is the development lead time. As you know, we change it. I think every 2 years we changed our smartphone. So our market, our customer doesn't wait until develop the new system on chip technology, because system on chip technology develop lead time is relatively so long, around 3 years. The market already passed, the market already changed. But the packaging technology can cover within just a few months, 6 months or 4 months. So we can apply the market more quickly, more fastly. So 2004, using the multi-chip packaging, so at the time, the technology of the semiconductor thickness was a 2.0 millimeter thickness. It is relatively very thick. And now, we can make 0.6 or 0.5 millimeter thickness, very, very thin. And also the packaging on package technology, we can consolidate together with another different semiconductor, together with the memory part and the baseband part, and also the Wi-Fi part, we can combine together, like stacking the sandwich. Okay, I summarized some key technology for each year, the different function of a semiconductor. Application processor, this is almost the same with the CPU of the computer. it requires a very high frequency and heat dissipation. So we need to develop some such kind of some solution to reduce the heat and also to improve the frequency of the transfer. So normally we use the package-on-package technology and also flip chip technology to reduce the data transfer time. And also another main part is the memory part, mainly the low power DRAM and the NAND flash part. So we can stack. So if you require the 32 gigabyte and the 4 gigabyte, 128 gigabyte, we just put the chip on the top, very easy. And also another part is baseband to communicate the telecommunication and the power amplifier and also the radio frequency and the power management IC. This is a basic semiconductor. And also the sensors. This is, I think, very important sector for the future semiconductor, to measure and to field and to gather the data. It is very important. Normally, we use the system in packaging technology to develop sensor semiconductor. And another thing, the commodity is like the connectivity and the interface, the product. So I want to say about the mobile sensor technology, the history. Around 10 years ago, we just started just the acceleration sensor to sense the action and the movement only, and also we just add a gyro sensor to detect the location. And nowadays we use 10 axis, the three the motion sensor, 3 gyro sensor, 3 magnetometer sensor, and one more the touch sensor, the function, in one semiconductor together. And the future of the mobile semiconductor technology will be a little bit different. So I think future of the mobile semiconductor technology will be the connect and the interface all the devices like a building, the computer, house, and the air conditioner, and the automobile, and also another the device together also. And it will be also very flexible. We need to attach the mobile, the IT, on our jacket and on our wrist, and we need to attach our skin. So it requires the flexible semiconductor also. And another the technology, the challenge will be the 450 diameter, very, very big the vapor size, with 10 nanometer, the technology also. And also we are now try to consolidate the technology between the system on chip and also the system in packaging technology. We are now combined together to make a more effective and a smaller size the semiconductor. So, and also we need to also stack more. So we call that 3-dimensional. And also we are now developing vapor level the chip scale packaging. It is really, really the smallest semiconductor in the world. And also we are now developing through silicon via technology. We make the hole in the semiconductor silicon IC to connect each other. So I think that is the most advanced technology for the future of semiconductor, for the new mobile era, I think. And also display also change very, very quickly. Like a display with flexible. Yeah, already the Japanese company and Korean, Taiwanese company already developed a very flexible display. And the 3-dimensional display also, holographic display also. So I think 10 years ago, if we were in some Mojave Desert, without a smartphone, we cannot survive. I think 99% of the people could be die without a smartphone. But nowadays, even though we are in some desert, we can be survived because I have some smartphone with GPS. I can just touch it with the Google Map and very easily. So I can find the way so we can survive. But we need to worry about the battery. So also we have some solar cell solution. So nowadays we are living in very, very fast change of technology. So we need to catch up. I think only one solution will be the education of our future leader. This is my the short experience of around 24 years in semiconductor industry. Thank you for the listening. My other, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
So, Yeda, let me ask you how about our time?
We need to go until 10:15 to keep time to questions.
Okay, so we have 25 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. So thank you, Chris, for sharing this kind of grateful experience. As you mentioned, you have 25 years of experience in semiconductor. Have been talking with Mr. Choi, the CEO of HT Micro and Hana Micro as well in Korea. He is the first semiconductor generation in South Korea. It's amazing. In 40 years ago, Korea was much worse economically, social, political perspective than Brazil, for example. And nowadays they are, for example, in our state, in Rio Grande do Sul, we have 1/3 of the Korea land in terms of the area. So, and in 2010, just one company from Korea, Samsung, the total revenue of Samsung was 3 times than the total GDP of our state. So it means that the technology itself, in other words, the knowledge economy has been fostering the economic development, the social development of the country. So I know that they are seeking for the future, especially for this kind of technology. It's not easy to compete in Asia country, especially with China, with Japan, with Taiwan, with other countries that has been compete each other in order to get this kind of a global industry as semiconductor. And it's a pleasure to have this kind of perspective with, as I mentioned here, it's a local cluster development in an emerging country connected with this kind of high advanced country as South Korea is nowadays. So that's, I would like to share a little bit about this kind of perspective. And if you have a look of the industry itself, it's a global semiconductor industry worldwide, we can see this phenomenon that I bring the data from 1976 up to now, and we see the red curve, and Asia surpassed the United States, the Europe in around 2000, and then nowadays they are leading the technology and the market and the industry itself. So, and from the Brazilian perspective, we have, as Chris has just mentioned, a Brazilian trade deficit was around $20 billion in 2013 of semiconductor products. So even we have some initiative along the history of semiconductor industry in Brazil. In around 1994, we had a very strong impact, a political impact in Brazil. In the Collor de Mello was the president of Brazil. They opened the market barriers for the foreign companies, and these foreign companies sell their products in national land, and then they almost vanished, all of the initiatives in Brazil at that period. So, and after that, we started to launch some specific policy, for example, some programs such as PADIS program, and they are trying to cover this big trade deficit that we have locally in Brazil. It means that we have mapped all the semiconductor initiatives in Brazil. Even Brazil, there is no cluster approach to agglomerate this industry, as we can see in Silicon Valley in the United States, as we can see in South Korea, in Daidokinopolis, a really good example that Korea has to cluster all of these initiatives with university, with companies, with technology institute, with all of them working closely together in order to be global competitive. So even we in Brazil, we don't have this kind of clustering policy approach. We have been seeing some clustering semiconductor industry in Brazil, mainly in São Paulo region as economic center of Brazil. In Porto Digital is a very good tech park in Brazil, in northeast of the Brazilian land. In Minas Gerais, we have some companies and technology institute and one of the best university in Brazil. And in our state, in Rio Grande do Sul state, we call Sinos Valley as a cluster of the semiconductor initiative. So in that cluster specifically, we have, I call global brain circulation, is one of the key elements that has been fostering the industry in our region. The global brain circulation is basically the high-skilled people who has been moving, for example, from South Korea to Brazil. In this sense, transfer technology, have a knowledge fusion in our region, and they keep international networks and ties, and actually foster the domestic capabilities in Silicon Valley. And those high-skilled people has been traveling from South Brazil, from Sinos Valley to South Korea, and this is, I call, global brain circulation. And in this industry, as Chris has just mentioned, the talent and the very well-educated people has been playing a very important role in order to foster this industry in emerging countries, as we can see in Sinos Valley. And it's amazing, 5 years of collaboration that we have with South Korea, we have around 400 high-skilled people involved with these global networks. 60% of them traveled from Brazil to Korea, and 40% traveled from Korea to Brazil. That's dynamic between those talent people has been playing a very important role in order to foster the industry in our region. Because we have a market opportunity, we have a background in IT technology and so on, but in semiconductor, in the 5 years ago, we had no experience like Chris has just mentioned in technology. So with this leading-edge technology, as Korea has nowadays, so we can join and we can cooperate together in a win-win strategy, as we have seen here. And going more deeply in this kind of relationship about the global brain circulation between both countries, we can see here the 5 years of collaboration through the company, university, and the government levels. And we can see in the 3rd, 4th, and 5 years, the right side of the picture, the Sinos Valley in South Korea, we have a more sophisticated architecture of global brain circulation. As you probably know, in the 60s, we had an effect of brain drain of the emerging country, that the people, especially high-skilled people who traveled to other countries with the more attractiveness. For example, in Brazil, in the economic center at São Paulo, in the United States, for example, at Silicon Valley and so on. So this brain drain has been very, in the 60s and 70s, it was very bad for the economic development of that regions. So in the 80s and 90s, we saw that the brain drain, that the people who was in the abroad, we have a storage of those people that come back to the center and then develop something. So now we can see a more advanced and a new model of this kind of high-skilled people development as a global brain circulation. And this architecture, in terms of more coordinated architecture, is very helpful for emerging countries in order to retain this talent in our region. So it means that we have, if you have a cross-sector levels collaboration, we can retain this talent in our region and not lose those people after training, after developing their specific skills in, for example, semiconductor. So in this sense, for example, one student from UNISINOS can go to South Korea. We have some international partnership with some good university in South Korea. He can have he or she can have academic experience in South Korea, then go to the South Korea company, have an internship experience. It means that have a hands-on experience in the manufacturing production. Then go back to UNISINOS University and then have an opportunity to work in the company locally. So it means that we can develop talent for the future and retain them to work in our cluster and not lose this talent for the future of the cluster. And if you look at the dynamics of global talent in a more global perspective, since we've just arrived from South Korea last week, we had really good meetings about the future of the Korea development, and it seems they have seeking for global talents for future development. And in other words, they need market opportunities for its technology commercialization for the future. China is maybe the biggest one, but we can see emerging countries as Brazil, as other emerging countries, as another perspective for the Korean. And from Brazil perspective, is a long traditional academic perspective of catch-up strategy for developing high-tech cluster in Brazil. High-tech cluster, high-tech industry means that is a very intensive in R&D investment, at least 10% of R&D investment to be a high-tech company. And we need to see Brazil as integrated into a global value chain. So we cannot be isolated in our market, but we need to be integrated in a global value chain in order to catch up this kind of technology. And my argument here is that the global brain circulation can be the bridge between this kind of advanced technology that we can see in Korea and some emerging market that in Brazil. So we are talking about high technology and high skilled people. And for the Korean, it's a challenge. I have been talking with Chris because if you look at this graph carefully, for the high-income OECD members, we see Korea here in the last column. This graph means the trust and distrust of foreign among select countries. So it means that Korea is a very homogeneity country. They don't have a lot of foreign workers working in Korea. So they have a sense of nationalism. That is a sense, it's really good. It's a kind of, we have in our state in the Rio Grande do Sul, but it's a big risk for them. Because if they not invite or not work closely with foreign workers, they can, lose their competitiveness in the global talent war, I can say. And if you look at for the other side of the coin, we can see this is a demographic curve worldwide, and the trends for the 40 years later. And we can see the graph shows in the right side of the square, we can see the curve of the growth of the workforce. And we see here, for example, Japan and South Korea, in particular South Korea, the number of the population age shifts will reshape the Korean. It means that the global force will decrease for the next years. So if you have for the one side of the coin, a country with a very strong sense of nationalism, with not friendly for foreign workers as the United States, for example, and the other side we have, we seek for global talents, we have to see another model that Brazil and maybe Uruguay and other countries make sense for this kind of a new model of cooperation. This is some final ideas that I would like to share with you. The first one, in this perspective, the interplay between local cluster growth and global cluster connectivity makes really sense for us as emerging country and for them as an advanced technology country. So this is kind of collaboration. It's not an easy task, but we can have this interplay as a successful and as a competitive advantage for both. And from my perspective, global brain circulation as stimulating transfer technology, knowledge diffusion in certain region as Sinos Valley, international network and ties, because as Chris has just mentioned, the technology has been changing every single year for new technology. So if you not be able to connect those clusters, it's not possible, because our technology is going to be very old in a few years later. And a new model, brain circulation is a new model to compensate for future lack of global talents, in particular for the future of workforce change in Korea. And the importance of governance-led cross-sector collaboration, resource bundling to compensate of lack of size and brand. Because the attractiveness of such high technology cluster as Silicon Valley, as in Germany in the Bavaria region, as we can see in Bangalore as a Silicon Valley of the Indians, we can see all of the high technology cluster as a brand. They attract most of the talent. And with this kind of global brain circulation, we can not completely, but we can compensate this lack of the size and the brand effect of these kind of high clusters in the world. And Sinos Valley and Korea connection, I can say it's a win-win strategy through technology, innovation, and market opportunities. We have been doing a very good way, I know, and learning and working together in a trust relationship. Let me catch up this word. It's a trust relationship. I can say now, I'm proud of that we have good friends in Korea, and we have been working closely together in a trust relationship. So it says that it's really important for us as an emerging country, and really important for the Korea as a high technology country, as they have been doing very well in the last 40 years. So thank you very much. And Father Marcelo, please.
Well, we are leaving this presentation for everybody. If you wish, we can take home and to share with us your feedback. The history of Sinos Valley, from shoe manufacturing to semiconductor industry. In the early 60s, São Leopoldo, Novo Hamburgo, and the whole Sinos Valley was a region, a global hub of shoe manufacturing. You see, in the early 90s, you can see that the Chinese producers undercut Brazilian products in the USA market. It was a huge crisis in the shoes manufacturing in this region. And economically, the region was really very fast to a down crisis. It was very dangerous for UNISINOS, because without economic support in the region, UNISINOS fell down too. So, in the 20s, we started to have a policy on the electronic industry, and nowadays you can see that UNISINOS is leading the changing of our economic life in this region. This is really a Jesuit leadership in our regions. And we are really committed to find a way to give young generation a good life opportunity. That is the main focus all we are doing. 5 years of our UNISINOS partnership with ST Micron and South Korea. We have 3 branches: institutional, academical, and business branches. It's very easy to see from the institutional point of view the missions. Do you know how many times Chris had visited Korea? 14 times. Myself, 11 times. 2 weeks ago, we have been visiting again Korea. And that's the point. To make partnership, we have to be close to people. both sides. No? Academical, a master dual degree program in semiconductor. We have two important universities in South Korea as a strategic partnership, UNISINOS. The SKKU, it's a quite difficult Korean name. We say SKKU, and KAIST. And with SKKU, we have now a dual degree. That's very important for a Brazilian university. And in the last years, federal government in Brazil launched a quite important program, Science Without Border. And within this program, UNISINOS sent how many students, Chris? 200 students to Korea. This is the way to visit people and very young generation. And business, HT Micro, no? And new small and medium enterprise business promotion. I am very, very proud to share with you UNISINOS' contribution on developing high-tech cluster. And allowed me to present Professor Balestrin. He is director of research and doctor program. We move science, technology, and innovation in the context of our strategical movement, UNISINOS. Academic, you can read what we have now. 15 years ago, we were a teaching university. Now we are a research university. Technological institutes, ITT chip, we are building up a new lab on this ITT fuse, ITT fossil, it's really important for Brazilian Petrobras, ITT Nutrifor, nutraceuticals, ITT performance, civil construction, and many other scientific labs. And finally, innovation, Tech Park, Tecnocinos, 75 companies, 40 incubated companies. I think this is typical heroic leadership you have heard yesterday from Limon. This is leadership. It's a brief information of our schools, humanities, health school, creative industry school, law school, business school, and polytechnical school. It's a brief overview of our Tecnocinos. This way, this one. Is the German SAP lab, a really huge lab of the German SAP. A visit to a clean room. And allowed me now to finish my presentation to come back to my words. Therefore, I teach philosophy. As you know, I am a Jesuit priest, and my main issue is to move UNISINOS to 21st century. And I think this is the issue of our Jesuit university, to move to 21st century. And moving toward 21st century, the main mission of a Jesuit president is to search and to find God in everything, to find God in this new world. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Father Marcelo. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Cristiano. And now we have time to open for questions and comments. We decided not to have written questions, but to open the conversation for everyone who would like to contribute.
Bom dia, meu nome é Fernando Pontigliano. Primeiro, parabéns por sua apresentação. Agora vou falar em inglês para facilitar a apresentação, mas só queria ser a vos parabéns em português. So, I continue now in English to facilitate. I'm a professor here in the university, and I come from the industry sector in various areas. First of all, I have to say I know very well Rio Grande do Sul. I remember as a child having buy shoes in Novo Hamburgo. So okay. I know the shoe industry. You have been faced with a very challenging situation. And it must have been very difficult to imagine it, to create a new world, and you have achieved something fantastic. You have shown in another slide the partnership diagram that you have, based on which you have constructed this what you have achieved. So for me is a key question how you, as a Jesuit private university, have achieved this kind of partnership, especially with the state, on county level, on state level, and on federal level, because this is not something very easy normally to achieve partnerships with state organizations being a private university. And I think this must have been a key element to, beyond your creativity, to achieve the results you get.
Yes, please. Okay. It works?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, thank you very much for your question. That, in my opinion, it's the key point of a whole presentation. To be honest, it was not easy to set up this kind of new and innovative business model to join a private university and a private company together with some government support in all of this level. You got the key point. So from HT Micron did a bidding process in Brazil to be located in some region in Brazil. And at that time, maybe Chris can explore this a little bit more. But they choose like a 5 states in Brazil. Most of them, the well-known states, for example, São Paulo, Minas Gerais, Rio de Janeiro, and Paraná, and Santa Catarina, and Rio Grande do Sul. And they did this bidding process, a formal bidding process, and it was really competitive bidding process in Brazil. And then they decided for our state, in Rio Grande do Sul state, and inside of the Rio Grande do Sul state, they bid like a 4 or 5 location. And the final, we had the 3 locations that were competing each other. And to win this kind of project, maybe Father Marcelo can explore a little bit more to the entrepreneurship of the UNISINOS in order to offer something more in order to attract this business, because we truly believe that time that made a huge difference for the UNISINOS in terms of internationalization process, in terms of a research perspective, and in terms of a regional development of as a Jesuit university. So it means it was not easy to get this project, and I worked in this project since the early stage. I remember we were 3 people in the beginning. First, Father Marcelo, Mr. Choi, and Mr. Felizola, the CEOs and the president of the companies in the decision maker level. And from the second level as executive, myself, Rosana Casais is the director of the company in Brazil, and Kevin. was responsible for the Korean price. And we built this business model in the early stage, and we didn't have any kind of background, because there was no business model like that in that period. So we built up a model that we can put all parts together and work closely for this development of these new business initiatives in Brazil. But it was not easy, and we made some contract architecture at that time that it was possible to set up this kind of fields. We can see this in many lands, because, for example, from the law point of view, just the contracts, it's a very, very hard task to put all things together. I remember, Chris, when we discussed hardly, we fight a lot at that period. But that fighting was possible to set up this model, because the mindset of the Korean side is completely different from law perspective than the Brazilian perspective. And I remember that we had an American United States lawyer that evaluate all of the contracts to make it possible. So, but nowadays I have been talking with Chris and Brad, for example, and even Mr. Felizola and Mr. Choi, that if you think to this business model, to this thing for the past, it means that impossible. But we did that, and I think it's a really challenge, and this accomplished, we are really proud of that it makes possible, but in a trust relationship that we have been building. Yeah, you can talk with them. Okay.
Let me add more my opinion. I think the semiconductor the history in the world is very short, around 60 years, maybe Father Marcelo's age. When he was born, in United States, they started the semiconductor, the development. But the main initiative always came from the university activity. In case of the Silicon Valley in the San Jose, the United States, always a Stanford University student and some PhD, some professors. They are discussing they created some idea, they designed some new business, new technology, always. They made a company in San Jose. Always that's what the kind of the first, the pace of a new business, including semiconductor. And also the Korea also have a Sogang University and the Sungkyungan University and KAIST University. Those are the three are the key. The technology university always lead the research of new development of semiconductor software, everything. They lead industry together. And also the university also discuss with the government, state government, and also federal government to make the new future business and really happen in the future. And also China is really strong. The government also every time discuss with the university. I think the Tsinghua University and also the Beijing University, they are key roles to the start and to make a robust semiconductor industry and the mobile industry with the government together. So always university role is first initiative of a new technology, including the semiconductor. So I think in Uruguay and in Brazil, the UNISINOS University and also the Uruguay, this university can be the initiative of a new technology of the seed for the future, including the semiconductor. This is my opinion.
I don't know if you remind the beautiful movie Missions. The Jesuits, we are working in this region in the last 3 centuries at least. This is our mission. At the beginning, we work with the Guaranese people. After, in the 18th century, we work with the German immigrants in Brazil. And now we are trying to live our mission in this new world. It's a new opportunity knocking on the door of our universities. And please allow me to share with you the Jesuit University. We are created to give people a better world, a better life. This is our focus. To give the young generation an opportunity to have a job, not to be seduced by drugs. Therefore, we are doing such hard work to give the younger generation in our region a better world, a better life. This is the key point.
So we would love to continue this conversation. As you can see, we are so proud of this case, and it's such a great opportunity to share with you, but it's 10:30 and we need to stop now. Thank you very much for your audience. Thank you very much. And we are going to the following session.